Hello, everyone, and welcome to another elite episode of the Get Authentic with Marcus show. I'm your host, Marcus Ogden. On today's episode, we are joined by Miss Sharon R. Frank. But before we get Sharon to the stage, I want to thank one of our amazing sponsors. We want to thank iFlip Invest. iFlip Invest is a software that allows you to do your investing and have it powered by AI. And they only charge you $7 per month. Again, we want to thank Mr. Randy Tate and iFlip Invest for sponsoring this episode. Now, here she is, Sharon. How you doing today, Sharon?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you see me?
Oh, well, you're here. Glad to have you here, young lady. So, first question, Sharon. What does the word authentic slash authenticity mean to Sharon?
Okay, so the word authentic means to me living out your core values, living out your 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 principles, your values, um, being you in a space where everyone wants to be somebody else. Authentic means that you have your own opinions on certain thing. It's not swayed by the populace, what's happening in society and in community. You're being what matters to you the most. And to me, that is the most highest form of being authentic.
Yes, love that. Love that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about you understanding you and being who you are and not trying to do something and or be something that you know you're not. I took note of something that Sharon talked about. It's all about being who you are at your core. And so many people need to hear that because it's really about you and your needs and who you are. And then from there, being who you are and who you know you need to be, you can
Right.
then help people because you know you're being the real you. You're not being fake, you're not being phony. And that is going to be a major, major positive upswing in your business life and in your personal life. So, Sharon, tell us a bit more about yourself, where you're from, and the work you're doing today to help people with your abilities.
So I'm located in the Long Island section of New York. Um, I am known as Dr. Sharon. um, I've been in the real estate space for about 28 years now, right? And I have worked in every aspect of real estate, from finance to management to sales and even development. Used to build homes, I don't do it anymore. Um, my mission as it is right now, you probably heard this phrase before, right? Certain businesses, or I would say probably every business, right? You talk about something that they call wash, rinse, and repeat, right?
Mm.
So I have done real estate from one level to the next level to the next level. But again, it's still the same knowledge, it's still the same work that you do. So I've mastered what I've done. And now I'm in a space now where I want to help people um, to master, to become their best versions of themselves. And if even if it's through bringing in financial literacy to certain communities, certain groups, helping them with the professional development side of it and the personal development side of it, because I truly believe that there is no true success until you have dealt with the development of self, and the development of your personal self and the development of your professional self.
You know, Sharon, this is so riveting, young lady. So we have an episode that's coming out on our YouTube channel from an interview that we just did with Andre Lewis, and we titled it this: "The Authentic Power That Literature Creates." the authentic power that literature creates with Andre Lewis. Can you explain to our audience how important literature, words, communication is in order to have and create the type of life that you want for yourself?
It is detrimental to your survival. It is uber important to your success. Um, if we just look at things we see in the media, right? We see so many people rise and then they fall. If you're looking to have longevity in anything that you do, whether it's relationships, whether it's finance, right? You have to work on that development, that personal development. Without it, you're setting yourself up not to be successful and possibly to fail. Um, I honestly and truly believe that the reason why I've had such a long run in this industry is because at one point I sat myself, now listen, I'm not perfect. I've had businesses before where I failed, but what I did after failing one or two times, I had to sit back and I said to myself, what is it that I need to see that I'm not seeing? And what that was self-reflection. Now I'm reflecting not on the issues that came to probably cause me to fail, but what did I do or what I didn't do that I should have done, to make sure that it doesn't happen again or it didn't happen. So if you're not educating yourself, if you're not reading, if you're not hearing about development, what is financial, like I said, it could be financial, it could be relationships, it could be a business, right? It is important for you to develop that, because when you're doing that, what you're really doing is you're developing your character, right? You're developing your integrity, you're working on those things. But we can't truly get to those things until we start doing what I love to push is reflection, self-reflection. A lot of us, we point fingers at everybody. It's this one fault, it's that one fault, it's that the other person fault. But we never sit down. Listen, for me, what I do at the end of every day, I self-reflect. And I run through my day in my mind quickly because I need to know what I did. Did I talk to that person? Did I speak to them right? Did I have an attitude that was not conducive to me being successful in what I was doing, right? When you get to that stage and you realize that you're lacking in some areas, then you can go look for the help, look for the help that you need to to develop in those areas. So literacy is uber important in every aspect of our lives.
You know, Sharon, this is fantastic because you talk about it is so important to your survival. It is
Yeah.
so critical to your fulfillment, finding joy, and being having what I like to call the success and or prosperity that you want in your life, right? And I
Yeah.
want to talk to a certain group where you talked a lot about how people need to understand things and look at things and assess things. A lot of our listeners, right? 44% of our audience, right, Sharon, makes
Yeah.
over 200,000 a year. 71% of our audience are entrepreneurs. They love being in business, they have a business, they want to be successful in their business and create that dream, right? And so
Yeah.
here's the question, okay, Sharon? I have a statement. Systems are hero making machines. Systems are hero making machines. Systems turn dreams into reality. Can you
Correct.
explain to our global audience how you work with individuals to help them create a system around finance, literature, tying it all together to turn their dreams into realities?
Well, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly, because what systems are really is discipline, right? Um, it's creating a system that can work for you and can help you to get to where you need to go. Systems are basically disciplines that you've put in place for yourself, for your family, loved ones, and you say, this is the system that I need for us to go from here to there. Um, if you are not disciplined, if you don't develop a routine, right, daily, those are part of systems that you create for yourself. Yeah, right. You have to have the daily routine. You have to have a plan. You have to have discipline. Those are systems that you need to put together. Now, when I am either speaking to an audience or crowd, or doing a speaking engagement, or even if I have one-on-one, I have lots of mentors that come in that because they want to do real estate. But one of the first things before we even jump into the real estate part of it, I sit them down and have a talk with them and let them know that real estate is fine. You can do real estate all day, but let's talk about you. Let's talk about, what do you do every day when you wake up? What's the first thing you do, right? Um, how are you self-reflecting on how your day went, how you interact with your clients, right? How did you get your paperwork together and stuff like that? Creating a system is very vital to your survival.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from a very wisdom filled, very fulfilled individual that's had massive success and achievements in her industry. Systems are vital. And if you want to turn any type of dream or goal or aspiration into reality, into your everyday life, right? Or what you're around all the time, you have to put in the work. Ben, who is our producer, Ben Boquist, has been with me since 2022. And Ben talked to me about this over the weekend. He said, Marcus, congratulations on the success of the podcast. We're 3 years old. Most people don't last past a couple of weeks. And here we are now, 3 years old, and now we're starting to actually make some good money through ad spend. People want to be on our show. People want to be a part of our, of our interviews and our discussion. And what's great, right, audience, is now people that come onto our show are asking us to send them the video clips so they can cut it up and can put it on their social media to create more awareness, to create more downloads, and that only helps our show reach more people. But as Sharon said, and as Ben talked about, we have put in a system to get to this point. We record every Tuesday, sometimes Thursdays. We publish every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 a.m. And we get it done. And we have a system that we have built when we communicate with people to make sure they're going to confirm coming on,
Right.
email
Yeah.
them after the fact, do outreach. I love what Sharon talked about around discipline, because discipline is the difference between being great and extraordinary. And that's huge. Sharon, can you talk about, for our audience, a little bit more tactical on the granular level, what you do for people when it comes to real estate to help them create the life for themselves?
Okay. So real estate, real estate is really, let's say, a vehicle, right? For many things, and it means different things for different people, right? One of my goal, and this is one of the reasons why I've had such longevity again in this industry, is that I don't see selling homes, pardon me for this term, as like selling hotcakes, right? Um, when I work with a client, I want to make sure that that client is going to be successful with that purchase of their home. So what does that look like? It means having a talk with that client, not just taking them to show them how homes. I ask them, what are your plans for this home, right? How long do you see yourself living in this property? right? If it's a family that's growing, you handle it a little different because they're probably going to outgrow this house maybe in the next 3 or 5 years. So we start planning for, okay, this is what you could do with this house. I would look for something for them that has the potential to be able to expand that home without having to sell and move to another home. So it's critical when I sit with my clients to hear what they say. They're not just buying a home, because a home that my client, that you may purchase or my client may purchase, might be the only investment that that couple, that family may make in their life. Yes, it's your home, but it's also an investment. So you want to make sure that that person understand that what they're getting into, understand the responsibilities that's involved with buying this home. I go through it all to make sure that my clients are successful, right? And this is, since I've been in this so long now, what I see is people that I've sold homes to 20 years ago, their children is calling me now to, mom said to call you, I'm looking for a place, right? Why? Because I made sure that I put the work in and make sure that my clients are not just buying a home and I'm getting a commission and that's the end of that. Next, right? But when you have a plan and you work with things, um, thinking about long term, thinking about longevity, thinking about next 5 years, next 10 years. And when I think about that for myself, when I think about it for my clients, I handle them differently, right? I don't handle them like, this is the first and last time I'll see you. A lot of real estate is referrals, at least for me, right? I get a lot of referrals from previous clients. So it tells me that I'm doing something right.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this really quickly, Sharon. Getting referrals is the easiest and best way to grow your business. But at the same time, it's the hardest because you have to really deliver excellent customer experience throughout
Yeah,
the entire process. If you can do that, then referrals is the best and easiest way to scale your business if you have the ability to do what you need to do and take care of the clients that you're
absolutely.
serving at that time. What's your thoughts on that, Sharon?
I agree 100%. Agree totally. That it is, and you could listen, if you're into any type of business 5 years, and you can look back, and if you look back and you realize that you haven't gotten much referrals from the people you've done business with, what is that telling you? Right?
Mm.
It's not that they're ungrateful, what you've done for them or helped them. It's because you're probably not putting in the work that you need to put in the work to get that trust from that client, right? To get the trust from the client. But at the end of the day, that client has to be satisfied. So if you're looking back, you realize most of your business is always first time people that come in and you never see them again. You have to think, um, why haven't these people sent me referrals, right? Um, some businesses, look, you could probably say okay, but most of the time when you serve that client right, when you want to make sure that the interests of that client is first and foremost before anything, yes, you'll make money, right? Yes, you'll make money. Yes, your business would grow. But first, put that client's interest first. Make sure that they are happy, that they are satisfied, and watch your business bloom.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the types of conversations that are so riveting because it's a blend of the personal aspect, touch of business, the structural aspect, part of business, how you need to be connecting with people, how you need to stand out from people, how you need to be really leading the pack in your industry. This applies if you're in the franchise business, if you own a restaurant, if you're a coach, a speaker, it doesn't matter. And I tell people all the time, right? The number one key to growing a business, right, Sharon, is having
Yes.
something that attracts the right type of clients to you where you're
Mhm.
not chasing and or pursuing people constantly, because like you said, when you attract clients you can be much more selective on who you work with. And so my question is, right, Sharon, you talked a lot about the ability to, grow a business, being in real estate. From your expertise, your wisdom, your many years of experience in the real estate business, what would you tell a young person getting into this business that they need to do to thrive through the eye of the storm? Because we both know, right, Sharon, when you start something new, there's a storm
Yeah.
coming. What is it
Yes.
that you feel can help people in that regard?
There's two main things that I always is what I live by, and those two things I just mentioned. It number one, put your clients' interest and needs above everything, first and foremost. That's number one. Secondly, you have to know in any industry that you're in, um, that things could change in a second, things can change in a minute, and you have to be able to pivot according to what's happening. So you have to learn how to be flexible, right? You have to be knowledgeable, right? Don't just sell homes. Pay attention to the Dow Jones. Pay attention to the economy. Find out what's happening in your neighborhood. Maybe the neighborhood is changing. Find out all these things. When you are learn about the local governments in the area where you sell homes. That's one of the best things that you could do for yourself. So when there is a storm brewing or something happening in the economy, and things are shifting, you are knowledgeable enough to pivot and make that shift because you know what's happening. You were informed, you read, you listened to the news, or periodicals, whatever. So now you're able to pivot. I've had to pivot many times in this industry. When the market crashed back in, I think it was 2008, I switched quickly to commercial property, right? So I now was sat working with a lot of commercial investors who were looking for commercial property. And that's just an example to show you how you have to know when is the correct time to pivot so that way you don't have to go out of business or not do real estate anymore. The second thing I do with my agents is I let them know that real estate, as when you come into real estate, everything is commission based, right? So I try to speak to them about different avenues and different ways to earn passive income. If you want to stay in this thing long term, if you want to go full time, I don't recommend anyone start real estate on a full time basis. I never do. But if you want to hang in there, I show them other avenues and other ways in real estate that they can earn passive income to tide them over until they have a next sale. So two things: learning to pivot, learning to shift, and also putting your clients' interest above yourself or anything that you may think of.
You know what, Sharon? This is sensational. It's been a fantastic interview. I have one more question. In under 60 seconds, please talk to our global audience for people who are starting in like real estate, anything new, right? Any business, right? The importance of trying to create passive income for yourself while you're pursuing the passion and or the career that you desire for yourself.
Okay. Um, I think I'm going to start off by saying I think COVID showed us something, right? When COVID came, it showed us something. It showed us that we cannot rely on a job, because a job can come and go just like anything else, right? I remember seeing people in COVID trying to think of what can I do until we get out of quarantine? Is there anything I can do? And I remember saying to my daughter, I said, this is why I always say to you, a job is great. Don't knock, a job is good, but you need to have something else on the side. The economy could collapse. We could go into a Great Depression, and the things that we thought that was solid is not solid anymore. So it's important for you to look at other avenues, look at other maybe businesses where you don't need to be there personally, right? We see right now, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of digital products on the internet and being sold on social media. And that's one of a great way for people who are in business to tap into another source of income. With my realtors, there are so many things that they could do. When I speak to them, I said, have you considered becoming a property manager, right? You already did the class, you already passed the exam. A property manager, think about that. That's part of it. There's a lot of people who leave, go away, and need someone to look after their property. So I'm saying all this to say is that having other avenues of income is very important. The way we are right now, it's a must, because we don't know what's going to happen. So think about that. Look to see, how you can use what you already have, what you already know, what you have in your hands to create passive income.
Sharon, phenomenal interview. How can people get in touch with you if they want to find out more about your services?
Okay, so you can reach me on Instagram. My name is Sharon R. Frank on Instagram. Facebook, Sharon R. Frank. On TikTok, same thing, Sharon R. Frank. Right across the board. Or you can reach us by email, which is Sharon R. Frank, info@SharonRFrank.com, or our website, which is also Sharon R. Frank Real Estate LLC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, connect with Sharon, reach out to her, and this is going to be a great day. I took tons of notes, and I want to thank our sponsor, iFlip Invest, for sponsoring this episode. And the authentic tip of this great interview: in life, it's so important to put the clients first, but doing so consistently and all the way through and through is going to help you scale your business faster than anything else. And I took note of that. When you serve clients consistently, your business scales effectively. Keep that in mind. Again,
Yes.
my name is Marcus Ogden. I am the host of the Get Authentic with Marcus show. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day.